Hey, everybody, Mark Herman, a.k.a. LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I'm joined here by super fans Devin and Jake Circus, and this is the Training Camp Jungle Talk. Yeah, hooday. Don't get too excited. Yeah, there you go. We haven't done this in a while. I wanted to put something up. I know we've been waiting for the Burrow contract. It's not here yet, but one of my thought process in pulling you guys in today was we did a show and then big news happened. And then we did another show and we talked about Mixon redoing his contract. And the next day, Mixon redid his contract. So I said, why not try to take this like fate thing and get it to work for us? So instead of waiting for Burrow, let's do the show. And then probably by Friday, Burrow's extension will be announced. So that was my thought process on this. Before I forget, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Just hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. You'll get the notifications. We're going to be doing our previews every week, our recaps every week. So you want to be on board for this season. And Jake, before I forget, tell them where they can find all your stuff because you do some great podcasts as well.
Yes, Jake Circus Podcast Season 3. Just posted our first episode. It was some, I guess it's not relevant now. It was an MLB trade deadline stuff, but that was cool last week. And then we're doing 7 pods in 7 days, previewing football season. Got some great guests planned and lined up for the middle of August. So make sure to check that out. And it's the best time of year, Mark.
Yeah, I love it. No, it's getting real now. I mean, we have the Hall of Fame game coming up, which is usually not a good game, but it marks we actually have somebody being inducted this year, long overdue with Kenny Riley. So, and then we had the Ring of Honor stuff going on. So, and like I said, camp's going. So outside of Burrow and his calf and not getting the contract done, we're what, 40 days away, 39 days away? I don't remember. So I didn't look at Facebook. Usually somebody posts a person in the right jersey number. You know, we're 41 days away. I think somebody posted Medeo Williams a day or two ago. So that's why I think we were at 40 then. But
so I assume we're going to do at least one preseason episode, Mark, but 5. I mean, if we'd still do our Thursday previews, 5 weeks from tomorrow, we'll be previewing the first game in Cleveland.
There you go. Yeah. And initially there was with the several weeks, will Burrow be ready? But I think we'll talk about that later. But I think there's no doubt he's going to be ready week 1. But let's go through some of the news. We'll hit him. Obviously, Mixon did redo his contract. We all knew that was going to happen. We got Hendrickson added a year to his deal. I thought that was awesome.
Very un-Bengal-like.
Yes, we have him through 25. I love that. He signed, the Bengals were his preferred team because his wife is going to college in the area. And he wanted the 4-year, he insisted on the 4-year deal so that he would be in town and he wasn't going to be going anywhere. So his wife, so maybe she didn't get all her classes one semester and they needed another year. I don't know. But whatever it was, we'll take it. It's great. What else do we have? Obviously, we signed another quarterback when Burrow pulled his calf. And then we had this whole Ring of Honor thing, right? We've got Chad and Boomer going into the Ring of Honor. And then Corey Dillon took exception to the process because he thought he should still be up there. But I heard, did either of you guys hear Chad's interview when he was in Cincinnati when they did the whole Ring of Honor announcement? It's going to happen during the Ram game. But did either of you guys happen to see his interview?
I did not. Any
Okay.
Chad interview is a missed opportunity to listen to that man.
Oh, it was golden. It was typical Chad from the heart. He's so sincere. The fan, he just talked about what an honor it was. They asked him about his favorite celebrations, and he said the wedding proposal and the Hall of Fame jacket were his favorites. Mine, personally, being a golfer, I liked it when he grabbed the golf pylon and used it as a putter. I thought that was great. He got fined because you can't use props and all that, even though it was part of the field. I don't know, but so he got fined for that. That was my personal favorite. And then one of the things they asked him was there any celebrations he didn't get to do? And he said that they had an easy button. You remember those Staples easy buttons, those red things, and you hit it and it said that was easy. He had one of those, he planned to do it on each end zone. And when he scored, he was going to go grab the easy button. So that's one that we never got to see, but that was in the Chad. That was one of the arrows he had. And I can't remember who the defensive back was, because he was going up against a certain defensive back that he wanted to diss. And that was the reason why he saved it for that game. And then the guy didn't play. And then he ended up not scoring that game. So it never happened. But that was interesting to hear that was in the Chad repertoire. So I love the guy.
There was nothing better than the Ocho Cinco celebrations. I mean, kicking the extra point in the preseason game that one year. Jake, are you old enough? You never got to watch him live much?
There was a NFL Films did a mic'd up Chad segment a few years ago, and it was about that preseason game in New England when him and Bill were like buddy. That was before he was a Patriot. And then he kicked the extra point and, said, and there was mic'd up of him in the Pro Bowl when he was talking with Big Ben, and there was nobody near him catching warm-up passes, and then he yelled at Ben, "This is what it actually is in the field of play. I know you haven't thrown to me ever," but yeah, but like the Mixon coin toss celebration in week 18 last year was very reminiscent of Chad. So I wonder if he actually had something to do with that.
Maybe. I wish the Bengals would figure out a way to get him on the payroll. I mean, as an ambassador or something, there's got to be some way to just get him on the payroll. He did talk about that. He still works out and that he wants to come in and be a defensive back. He says, I still train, I still work out, I can still do this, at least at the defensive back level. So I really, it was very entertaining. If you have a chance, it's got to be somewhere. Maybe on Bengals.com, but watch it. Definitely entertaining. You said you heard him do soccer announcing.
So he's a big soccer guy. It's funny. There's a lot of things outside of being a football player that, people still talk about Ocho Cinco doing is his love of soccer, his video game prowess that he brags about on Twitter. And what I love doing is he'll throw tweets out there. Meet me at such and such, first 100 people get a pair of shoes, or he'll buy people lunch at McDonald's, the first 100 people to meet me at the McDonald's on the corner. Here's where I'm at. So awesome guy. Everything he does is phenomenal. But yeah, he was in studio last year for the World Cup. And it was very not obnoxious like Pat McAfee, but it was McAfee-esh in that it was not your normal analysis of a game. It was fun. It was social media driven and just really entertaining to listen to. And I didn't even know he was doing it. I was flipping channels, watching soccer games, and I actually had a great bet on the World Cup that kept me intrigued in the entire World Cup that Jake enjoyed following with me. And just wound up watching him, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. Yeah, absolutely great. So let's see if there's anything else we want to cover before we jump into the news of Burrow. And Corey Dillon, he just has to understand. I know he did Bengal Jim show and he tried to tone it down because he was attacking, why are you letting the season ticket holders decide? Is basically what his argument was. That's why he wasn't up there yet. And they were trying to explain to him on Bengal Jim show, there's a lot of people. We were late to the game. There's a lot of people in front of you. He's going to get in there. Just be patient. But that little rant about attacking the season ticket holders for being the people who decided, I thought was, so he kind of, I think, thought it through. A lot of these times these guys throw out a tweet and stuff. And I think if they just write the tweet, because maybe that's therapeutic, and then sit on it for a day and see if the next day you still think it's worthy of hitting send. Like Herm Edwards said, don't hit send, because I do that for emails too. I'll write an email and I'll say, wow, that's kind of harsh on the client. And then I'll look at it the next day and 99.9% of them, I never hit send. You read them the next day and you kind of go, I don't know.
It's a great rule for life, the 24-hour rule.
24-hour rule, because I do get the idea that it's therapeutic saying something, but like Herm Edwards says, don't hit send. So I think looking back, he probably wishes he hadn't. In camp, we had Trayvon Williams tweaked an ankle yesterday, or a couple days ago, but then yesterday I heard it wasn't that bad. What have you heard on that? Anything?
He said he was fine. Said he was fine. But again, here comes Chase Brown. Like I said on the draft show, he was going to get run, and August and prove his worth for September and October. Mixon's not a 3-down back anymore. He's not being paid like one, and he's not going to be that guy. So Travion hasn't shown anything in 4 years. So what makes us think he's going to show anything in the 5th?
No, he's actually looked okay. He can't stay healthy. When we do see him in preseason, it's a tease.
They've drafted three running backs on day 3 since they took Travion, including about 20 minutes after they took Travion. They took the Oklahoma guy, Rodney Anderson, who never mounted to anything. So they've taken 3 running backs in day 3 since they drafted Travion. So it shows you the conf. But he's a special teams guy. He's been on special teams his whole career.
Does really well on special teams. He's a nice guy to have on the roster on the back end.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
No, it's
if he's getting, it's like we say, and we'll get into when we talk Burrow. People freak out on the backup that we carry to Burrow. What the third down or the number 3 back looks like. If Travion, I didn't finish. It doesn't matter who the backup to Joe Burrow is, because if he's playing, we got problems. If Travion Williams is carrying the ball at any point, we got problems.
Right.
Like they have the starter for next year when Mixon, or I guess Mixon's under contract for next year too, but we'll see if he ends up getting that. But Chase Brown's going to start next year, and he might even start this year. My little hot take.
There you go. I like Chase Brown as a if you're in a deep league and a dynasty league, Chase Brown's a great guy to add, because even if he doesn't get significant time this year, I see him taking Mixon's job next year. So
no, he's gonna play. He's gonna play on third down. He blocks. He's gonna block.
Right. Oh, is he a blocker? I didn't realize.
Oh yeah. No, he's a big time blocker.
Okay. Good.
So, and then DJ Turner has looked very good the first week of camp. So, everybody talked about, hey, we lost a couple guys in the secondary, and Awuzie's coming off of injury and stuff, but Turner looks like is going to step right in and start. I mean, week 1 in the nickel package. So little cautious about it. He's an athlete. Athletes do good in one-on-ones. That's all camp is. So be careful when you see these big time videos about Bijan Robinson blowing past a 4'6" linebacker and one-on-ones off of a double move. It's like it's athletes. These are, DJ Turner's an athlete. That's why he was taken so high. So he's going to do good in one-on-ones. But yeah, no, he's looked really good. He's looked fast. He's looked quick. He's healthy. And he's going to play a big role, as is CTB, who's also looked really good. And I love that they have him on Jamar every single day. It's just going to make him even better. Some of those videos are really cool because Jamar's had an unbelievable camp from what everybody is saying, and CTB's right behind him.
Right. Yeah. All of a sudden, our cornerback, which has been strong for a while, looks like a serious strength and a huge amount of depth with 4 guys that are just absolute rock stars right now.
Right. Totally.
Which is only going to help the safeties, which is not as potentially talented and not as tenured.
So I've got a cat here that I think is going to try to jump up. So I'm going to introduce her. This is Chase. And I have another tabby, short-haired striped tabby named Burrow. I adopted them both last year. They were on a video last year, but she's eyeballing the computer, and I don't want her jumping up on the laptop. So I'm going to have to, expel her.
I can talk while you're worrying about the cat.
Pets named after Bengals. Put them down in the comments. Dad. I want to hear about it.
Very close. It's Jake's fault that we don't have a dog named Mixon.
Oh,
well, it was my fault.
We adopted a dog and struggled for about 3-4 days to come up with the right name. And we went through everything. My name's Tracy's.
3 years ago. 3 years ago. So because we would have named it Burrow, we would eventually name the dog Burrow, but it was pre-Burrow.
I think it was.
It was way before Burrow. Way before Burrow. But keep going. We're getting off the rails here.
Drafted yet. And long story short, we had it down to 2 names. And one was Mixon, who Jake came up with, and the other one was Chipper, that Brady came up with for Chipper Jones. And we legitimately couldn't decide. And it was going to be settled in a 3-inning game of MLB The Show. And Jake had a 2-run lead going into the bottom of the 3rd and gave up a 3-run jack to his then 10-year-old brother. And we lost the name Mixon.
And you've got Chipper Jones.
We didn't keep Chipper after a day or so. It didn't work.
Yeah, Chipper was on the chopping block early.
Chipper got chopped. So
what's the dog's name? We got to. What's
Bucky.
that?
Bucky. He's probably behind.
Oh, there he is.
There's Bucky. Okay. Well, to me, I don't care what you call him. I'm calling him Mixon because that's the name he should have got. You guys robbed him.
You know what else? You
name.
know what else I can show you? Speaking of, I'm changing the subject, but we talked about Ocho Cinco. Jake's seen this. This is my latest edition. I got to get a shelf to put it up next to the Munoz jersey.
Love it. Love it. Yes, I have mine over which there it is, right there. That's at the old Murph. That's at the Qualcomm. But I think it was called the Murph when Jack Murphy Stadium, when Ocho tapped those toes in. So what an amazing route runner. What an amazing
Anyways, back to the corners, guys.
Back to the corners. No, it's a strength. I'm so excited with what we have going on. So
it should be. They're deep, but I think the word that I would use is versatile. That's why they drafted DJ. That's why they drafted Battle. I think even CTB is versatile. Obviously, Dax Hill's very versatile. Someone who we haven't really heard much of, but he's gonna play a lot and he's gonna be really good. Yeah, probably. But no, very versatile. And whichever DC is going to replace Lou next year is in for a good spot.
Yeah, and this is, we all have to accept the fact this is Lou's last year. The only reason he's still with us is because there wasn't a job suitable. He wasn't going to take Arizona. I mean, that's a death trap. Yeah, going to that. That's a train wreck waiting to happen. So, but this is here, so let's enjoy it.
Playing devil's advocate. Leslie Frazier is still with Buffalo Bills, and he's been in head coach talks for like 4 years. Byron Leftwich, although he was awful last year and was like the reason for their downfall, is still with Tampa. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a lot of head coach firings. Obviously, that doesn't mean much in August,
right?
Because there's still all this football to be played. But I think there was a ton of new coaches last cycle, and we'll see. I mean, if there's 3 or 4 job openings
every year, it's real easy to say I can't see anyone fired.
But there can't be 5 every year. There's been 5 the last 3 years, and I think that's a very top heavy league.
There's years where it's been 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be 8. It's not going to be half.
Were supposed to make it happen and didn't. So like teams that no longer have excuses.
Well, look, okay. I mean, are the Chargers going to hire Lou Anarumo when Brandon Staley eventually blunders for the 3rd straight year? He's as good as gone if they don't win 11 games. But are they going to hire a defensive guy? Probably not.
That's the norm. You go from an offensive guy to a defensive guy. You go from a dictator to a player's coach. That's what you normally see in coaching changes. Whatever you had, you go the opposite.
Well, I think but Lou's got so much positive talk among players in the league, and the Bengal players have talked him up so much that I'm just trying to soften the blow because I would like to keep this coaching unit together. I told you before, I think we won the offseason because we didn't lose either of our coordinators. I think coming in with the same coaching staff, that gives us a great opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. The Eagles basically hit the reset button on coaches, on coordinators. So,
I right now, I would say Vegas because McDaniels is as good as gone unless they surprise.
Look, Vegas. You said Chargers. I'll throw Ron Rivera. There's no way he's going to keep a job much longer. Who the heck's the coach at Carolina? Although they might be good this year.
They just hired Frank Reich. I'm like
that's this year.
There's
All right, so we take Carolina up, but he just gave you three possible coaching vacancies right there. So
Tampa with my God.
Dennis Allen was a mistake in New Orleans, and at some point they're going to run him. They probably give him one more year, but
wait, why am I blanking on the Tampa head coach?
We haven't even mentioned.
Oh, it's Bulls. Bulls.
We haven't even mentioned the best one is McCarthy. I mean, on Dallas, if you don't think so, even if Dallas
they've won 12 games. There are 2 teams in the league that have won 12 games the last 2 years. It is the Dallas Cowboys and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They've won 12 games each of the last 2 years. That's with Dak Prescott missing 6 games. Say what you want about Mike McCarthy. He's going to have a huge job with coaching the offense this year. He's calling plays with Kellen Moore gone. So he might be putting his own head on a chopping block, but they've won 24 games the last 2 years and a playoff win.
Jake, I will make a wager with you that could become null and void because I'm going to put a condition on it. If the Dallas Cowboys don't win at least one playoff game, McCarthy's gone.
Yeah. The expectation.
Actually, we don't need to put a qualifier on it. If he wins a playoff game, you win the bet. If they don't make the playoffs or he loses in the first round, I win the bet. You in?
You're giving me even money on Dallas to win a playoff game this year and in that poverty conference? How much do you want to bet on it? Who's beating them?
I'm not giving you odds that they're going to win a playoff game. I'm saying if McCarthy doesn't win a playoff game, he's going to get fired.
Okay, well, I have the Cowboys at 12-4, at 12-5 again. So, sure, I'll take whatever you want.
Okay,
they're gonna be really good.
There you go, and you got it on video, so we can always go back and see what the bet.
Whatever you want.
We'll do our traditional T-shirt bet.
All right,
there you go. All right, so now Burrow, we have Burrow pulling his calf, and it was on a sleeve. So some have said, well, what was he even doing playing that day? But I guess they had 1 day of practice, and a bunch of the players were stiff and complained of aches and pains. And obviously he had a little twinge in his calves because they had the sleeve on already. Scary when it first came up. I obviously hoped, hey, it's cramps. Have it be a cramp or something, the way he pulled up. But it turned out to be a strain. Several weeks. Now is just looking like maybe 2 or 3. I mean, he was already reported walking without a limp. It's only been a matter of days. So I don't think opening day is in jeopardy. I mean, that's just me, pure speculation, but
he's going to be fine for opening day. But what I find ironic, and it also shows that full evolution of the Bengals in his tenure. So his rookie year, COVID, no training camp, totally modified training camp. Year 2, he's got we're bringing in Jamar, and
the knee.
He's recovering from the knee.
Right.
Year 3, they've got
appendicitis
in the offensive line. He's got the appendicitis, and now
the appendectomy.
Right. What did I say?
He took the appendix out. It wasn't sick.
Right. It was appendicitis, and then he had the appendectomy. In either case, he hasn't had a normal training camp, and he was talking. It was almost like he hexed himself. He was talking about how he was really looking forward to a normal camp, and then this happens, and here we are. It's same stuff next year. The good news is it's less reps on him. I gotta think that he would have played very little in the preseason anyway. He's probably not going to play it all now. Who cares? It's the same offensive line with Brown in there, whether it's Jonah at right tackle, which we assume. There's no major change to the offense. Right.
The offense isn't going to lose anything. There was some concern last year with all the new guys at offense, and we saw it was rough going the first 2-3 games.
Right.
Not 4, but I'm not worried about anything and fully expect them to come out, clicking week 1, even though it's at Cleveland.
I do too. And Burrow basically said the same thing. He said, there's no new changes. It's the same language. And he kind of touted the chemistry's already all there. So,
yeah.
I agree. So let's get to the contract, which is, and maybe it'll be funny if it gets done in the next 3 or 4 days. Remember, like I said, we're doing this video hoping we get this thing done, but we know that Herbert got what, 262 over 5 years. And I didn't see the actual details on what was guaranteed, but that puts Burrow in the 265. I mean, they have to up it. He has to in some way be better than that contract. So that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of the numbers we thought we were going to be at anyway. So, I mean, that's not a big surprise. I think the Bengals do this deal. I think the delay, and this is once again me speculating, is they're trying to figure out a way to get this structured to where they have money for Jamar next year and Higgins this year. I think that's
so
Logan Wilson.
Well, Logan Wilson is very low on the totem pole of importance at this point, but I think the delay is a mix of them the mutual sides agreeing that he should be the highest paid player in the National Football League. Obviously, because of the Mahomes weird contract, he won't be.
Right.
But yes, it's always the next man up. So it's making sure that he gets more than Herbert, which I think it's not a coincidence at all that Burrow was the last one amongst Hurts and Herbert of those three. He should be the last. He should be the one to set that market for next year, when it's Lawrence's turn. And then also them making sure that, like you said, Mark, that they still have enough room, because they can make him the highest paid player in the league and still make it a team-ish friendly contract. And still, when we get into the language of upwards of $55 million a year, there are going to be some nooks and crannies that are going to be in that contract that make it seeable for Jamar to get what he's worth, and T. And there's been too much talk about keeping the band together for them to just go out and give Burrow $60 million a year with all this guaranteed money and, putting him first instead of the team. There's been too much, he has been too adamant about keeping everybody together.
Right.
To just go away from it last minute and just get, way more than what he should be getting.
He didn't have to. It's not like he said press conferences or anything, but he hasn't shied away from the questions and has very much keeping the band together, taking care of his receivers.
Right.
T. Higgins is the interesting one. Obviously, Jamar's not going anywhere. Burrow's not going anywhere. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Higgins. But he didn't have to come out and say that. And because he did, Jake, you made a great point that he's figuring out a way to do it and working with the Bengals to do it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I think we're blessed in the fact that from the start of his career, he's always been very Brady-like in the way he approached things.
Yeah.
And Brady was never one of the top paid guys. I mean, and he's left enough money to where he always had Gronk there. He always had Edelman. He always had Welker, Edelman. He always left enough money to have the pieces around him, because that was important, and was a big picture guy. Now, I know Burrow's not married to somebody making more money than him, but we're still talking about, this money is ridiculous money now. So I just see him with the mindset and the fact that if you listen to the media, everybody was saying, what is he doing out there even playing? He should be holding out, and there are players that are holding out. Josh Jacobs is not it in Vegas. I mean, there's a lot of players that are playing hardball, and Burrow was never that. He showed up. That was never the case. So maybe this little cap thing was actually a blessing, because it got him off the field, so we don't have to worry about something long term, and we get this deal done. I personally would like to see a 10-year deal where they do something creative, maybe tie it to a percentage of the cap. He could be the first player that's tied to a percentage of the cap. So he gets kind of recast in a later year. So he doesn't have this Mahomes issue, because the Mahomes contract is going to have to be redone to some extent. Eventually, it's going to reach a point where Mahomes isn't going to be happy not making, the money he's making. That was a very team-friendly deal. But I'd like to see something long-term where we say Burrow's here for the rest of his career and not going anywher. So
yeah, I was actually going to bring that up, and you guys are better with contracts than me. I only scratched the surface. But to go 8, 9, 10, is that just Burrow agreeing to be here that long? Is there more to it?
Well, it's how you structure it. So here's the biggest problem. It's guarantees. So the way the CBA sets it up, all the money that's guaranteed has to actually be physically taken and put in an escrow account. And the Bengals don't have that kind of money. And there was talk earlier this year, and you could check my Twitter feed or X feed or whatever we're calling it these days, but you could check my Twitter feed and you'll see it's not legal right now to use a percentage of ownership. Because I said, hey, they could guarantee it and say, all right, you know what? You're a 1% owner when you retire or something like that. I don't know how the percentages would work, but and Jerry Jones and the richer owners have made sure that that's not legal to do. And they're doing that to hurt smaller market teams, because Kroenke could easily put $500 million in an escrow account, right? But the Brown family doesn't have that kind of money. The smaller market teams don't have that kind of money. So that kind of hinders it, because there was talk about like Brady being a part owner. That's why this came up. Brady being a part owner. Maybe could he come back and play? And there's issues with having someone having an ownership interest as part of his salary. So So, and like I said, that's how the Jerry Joneses keep the larger markets with an advantage. So they're going to have to get creative. I think the easiest way to do it is some kind of just a percentage of the cap. Guarantee him that he's always going to be the X percent of the cap, and do it that way.
So that's probably not going to be feasible for a plethora of reasons. But anyways, for Mahomes, Mahomes even came out and said a couple of days ago that he actually copied, like, quote unquote, Tom's model. And a good point he made is also making sure that he's pushing the market forward for other quarterbacks, which his contract kind of did with the way that it was structured and set up year-to-year restructures, which is what I think the Bengals and Joe Burrow are stuck at a crossroads right now and figuring out, planning forward for all the restructures that they're eventually going to need to do if they want to keep this Brady model, because that's what it is. I mean, you can't just give a guy, an NBA contract. There's all these languages that you have to use that you have at your disposal that you have to take advantage of, and they haven't done it in so long. And they still haven't done it until they did it with Mixon, but with Burrow, they're gonna need to do it. It's what the Chiefs do every year with Mahomes. And yeah, you're right, Mark. Eventually, that he's gonna probably ask for a redone deal to some extent, but it's gonna still be the same language that his current deal is. It's still gonna be team friendly,
right? So, well, it's going to happen. I would love somehow to just make it so he's here. You get a 10-year contract, like with Mahomes. He's saying Mahomes is going to be a Chief for his whole career. That's what that contract says, and that's what we could do the same thing. So, but all right. Well,
I would expect six.
Okay.
I would expect 6 instead of 5.
Right. Okay. Well, like I said, Burrow's saying all the right things. He's done all the right things in terms of showing up to camp without the contract, all that. This is going to get done sometime this month. Hopefully, maybe this show tempted fate, and we have something done by next week. It would follow the pattern of our last couple shows where Jake and I have recorded the show and then gone, oh, there's the news, the 2 days later with Mixon or something. So hopefully that pushes it. So, like I said, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. You'll get our notices. It's all we ask. Hit the bell. You'll get the alerts. And the last thing I'm going to leave us with is I want people, put your comments down if you disagree with anything we've said. But I'd like people, if you have any Bengal ink, if anybody's got any type of Bengal ink, show it off. Let's know what you got, So team pride. So do you have anything to share, Devin, or no, you haven't gotten there yet?
I have a picture of the tattoo that Jake and I are getting together when they win the Super Bowl that we were set to do 2 years ago in Cincinnati.
All right. Well, I definitely want to see that. And are you guys going to be, because Heath and I and Josh are going to be making the trek to the Cardinals game. Are we going to see you guys at the Cardinals game?
Tell them
we'll be together.
Yeah,
we'll be together watching
the game.
So I can't get you guys to come out and go to the game. I'm going to literally be at the Hollywood Bowl seeing Sting the Saturday night before the game, and then rushing home, getting 3 hours sleep or whatever, and then jumping on a plane at 6 a.m. to get to Arizona to make the because I'm not parting with the Sting tickets, and I want to see the Bengals in Arizona. So that's what my 24 hours. It's going to be a crazy 24 hours, but I'm doing it. So,
Jake, where are we going to be?
We will be in the Show Me State for my fraternity's dad's weekend.
There you go.
We'll be together.
Well, that'll be. You know what? That's the it was kind of. I was kind of disappointed when the schedule came out that it was that week, because I knew I had these Sting tickets on Saturday night at the Hollywood Bowl. So I would have liked it to be a different week. And obviously, you're locked in with the with the fraternity father-son thing. So
I'm stuck hanging out with my kid instead of a home game. So,
well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's in your neck of the woods.
I'm probably going to be in a tent. Well, I'm going to try to go to the White Bengal night Monday night against the Rams. I think that's a Monday night. Maybe it's a Thursday night.
It's a Monday night. That's the
Monday night.
That's the
Monday
third
night
game of the season.
Oh, yeah,
that's the Ring of Honor game. Yeah,
I'm going to try to go to that one. So
okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, if anybody's planning any road trips, let us know that too. Throw it in the comments. Let us know if any of you guys
I think I'm going to do the San Francisco. Are you going to do the San Francisco trip, Mark?
No, I'm not. I'm not you know what? It's one of the most dangerous stadiums in the NFL for starters. And I just had a client come back from the Bay Area and just told me how horrible it is up there right now. I mean, literally stepping over homeless, leaving the hotel. I mean, they're just not doing. I mean, so I'm not, you know.
All right.
We'll see. I can audible at the last minute, but I wasn't planning on going up there. And like I said, you're talking about by leaps and bounds, it's the most dangerous stadium in the league in terms of stabbings and everything. But you got police that don't do anything.
Interesting.
But let me know. Maybe you go incognito. You wear I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll talk about it. We got time. So all right. Please subscribe. If you don't subscribe, Jake, tell them where they can find all your stuff.
Jake Circus podcast on Spotify, YouTube, season 3, fully underway. 7 pods in 7 days, starting mid-August, doing college football, NFL stuff, gambling. It's time, guys. It's time. Buckle up.
Buckle up. There you go. All right. We will put out a video in a couple weeks from now when there's some news, maybe a preseason game or two. We'll see. And then what was the date on the Thursday night before the opening weekend? It was like September.
5 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, 5 weeks from tomorrow is Lions Chiefs. All
right. Well, we will be doing our preseason, our preview for the opening day. There you go.
Well, Mark, I'll give something out. Under 54.5 in that game. It's going to keep going down. It'll close at 51. So under 54.5 if you want.
So take the under right now.
Yeah, take it right now. It's going to go down.
Right now. Okay. All right. I like that. Hey, I'm not, you know what? It's a future and you don't have to wait till the end of the season. You get it week 1, right?
Well, all the lines, yeah. I mean, all the lines are out right now. Like, I mean, you have to be a sicko to bet on like a week 12 game in August. But you know, the week 1 games, I've already placed a few, but that one I think it'll drop quite a bit.
The only thing I placed, I threw $50 down on Zach Taylor as coach of the year. I thought maybe this was the year. I thought that was worth it's like 20-1, so it's $1,000. So that was the only one. Like I said, everything else on the Bengals futures is just
Zach's 20-1.
It was 20-1. Yeah,
that seems
who's the favorite? What, like Peyton? Is Sean Payton the favorite?
I don't remember. I just thought maybe this might be the year. Oh, and we'll close on this right now. Burrow is 3rd on jersey sales. And you actually have to take away number 2, because who do you think is number 2 on jersey sales?
Well, Mahomes has to be 1.
Well, Mahomes is 1.
Take away
jersey sales.
Yeah. Actually, it's jersey sales. Yeah. Burrow's number 3.
What you mean by take away?
Okay, this is why you take him away. It's Aaron Rodgers. People have to buy a new jersey because you're not going to wear a Packer jersey. So it's like I said, that's artificial because he's on a new team.
Right. I got you.
You have Mahomes as 1, Burrow is, and there are people who
all the Jets fans are buying it because it's new. Right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I say caveat. He's number 2, but there's extenuating circumstances.
That's funny. I never thought, because it's fun looking at jersey sales and top 10s. I've never thought to look at it. The longer a player's been with that team, the higher up he is on that list makes it even that much more impressive.
Right. Well, everybody else is established. You go, I'll give you the top 10. Mahomes, Rodgers, like I said, with the caveat, that's an asterisk. But then you've got Burrow, Micah Parsons, Kelsey, Hurts, Prescott, Allen, CeeDee Lamb, TJ Watt. I mean, those are up there because they're people buying the jersey, but they're not new.
Burrow being 3 is really awesome because like AJ was never up there. Chad was probably not even up there. Like Burrow being up there is really impressive. Like there's a lot of non-Bengal fans buying Joe Burrow jerseys, which you can't really say that about a lot of, like I would say no non-Cowboy fan buys a Dak jersey.
No,
right. I love Dak. I'm the biggest Dak guy out there, and I'm not buying a Dak jersey. I'm not walking around with a Cowboys uniform, jersey.
If we pull Rodgers out, that brings Justin Jefferson into the top 10. If we pull Rodgers out, so you've got 2 guys from the LSU team plus Burrow, so you've got the 3 right there in the top 10. That's pretty impressive. So, but all right, so there you have it. So subscribe, and we'll be back. And hooday, everybody! Take care.
Bye, everyone.